severe weather, heavy rainfall, and your full tropical weather update here in this video. Good Saturday morning, everybody. I am actually going to dedicate this video to my friend Chloe here this morning. Definitely a great friend out there. Definitely appreciate you here. In this video, I will be talking to you guys about a lot of severe weather occurring here as we get into this weekend and into early next week. So let's look at the jet stream here. We got kind of a broad trough starting to develop across the Aleutian Islands, getting into portions of the Pacific Northwest, and that's going to be the start of a system that will traverse from west to east across the northern United States as we move through this weekend and into early next week. And as we get into Sunday, we'll really start to see that trough deepen here across the northeastern Pacific Ocean, getting into the Aleutian Islands there. And we'll also see kind of an upper level low pressure system develop across portions of Manitoba, getting into the northern plains as we head into the day tomorrow on your Sunday, and actually deepening a trough across portions there of the Aleutian Islands and across the upper Midwest as we get into Monday, with a trailing cold front that will bring the potential for instability and moisture northward to produce the threat of at least isolated severe weather as we get into early next week. So let's look at your temperatures out there first and foremost here for your afternoon today. We definitely have widespread middle and upper 80s across most of the center of the country, from the Dakotas all the way south here to Texas, even some upper 90s across central Texas this afternoon. 93 down there in Dallas-Fort Worth, 95 in Wichita Falls, 94 both in Oklahoma City and Tulsa, and 89 up there in St. Louis this afternoon. Looking at tomorrow, we'll start to move this heat a little bit farther to the east. We'll have a cold front develop here and traverse from west to east across the Dakotas. As we head into your Sunday afternoon, you can see some middle and upper 70s behind that cold front, with the more refreshing air with lower humidity back across portions there of Montana into the western Dakotas. Ahead of that, though, we got all that heat, we got all that instability building for that thunderstorm potential as we head into Sunday. Widespread lower and middle 90s, even some upper 90s widespread across portions of Kansas as we head into tomorrow afternoon. And then that will continue eastward here with some cooling weather across portions there of Minnesota into the Dakotas and even northern Wisconsin as we get into early next week on your Monday. So looking at the precipitation expected over the next 48 hours, you can definitely see where we expect some clusters of showers and thunderstorms to kind of develop and push to the east, really centered across Iowa, eastern Minnesota into Wisconsin, and even northwestern Illinois here over the next 48 hours. The bullseye right around the Des Moines area. So if you live in Des Moines, Iowa, there's potential we could be talking about 2 to 3 inches of rain over the next 48 hours. So definitely a good drenching rain for parts of Iowa. And that's some good news, because some parts of Iowa do need the rainfall as they are in a growing drought, especially in western Iowa. So that is some good news as we look a little bit further. But looking also at the severe weather side of things, we got 2 marginal risk zones we're watching. We got one across southeastern portions there of Montana near the Billings, Montana area, and then a larger marginal risk across portions of western Wisconsin near the La Crosse area, up toward the Twin Cities there, all the way southward toward Des Moines, Iowa, Kansas City, Topeka, Wichita, Kansas, and all the way down to the Texas Panhandle, approaching the Amarillo area as we head into later today. That's for some damaging winds and some large hail. Damaging winds up to around 65 miles per hour and maybe up to quarter to half dollar size hail with some of the strongest storms. We also do have an isolated threat for tornadoes across northwestern Wisconsin and eastern portions of Minnesota later on today. So you definitely want to be on high alert northwest of the La Crosse area up toward the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul. We could be talking about an isolated spin-up tornado with a couple of these storms that develop later on today. So let's kind of time this out for you here around the morning hours. We got some scattered showers and storms across portions of western Lake Superior, down into the north woods of Wisconsin, all the way south here into northeastern Iowa. A couple of storms maybe into northwestern Kansas as well this morning. But as we move into this afternoon, with all that daytime heating, the instability growing just a little bit more, some of that wind shear organizing, and a lot of low-level moisture with all those dew points rising into the 60s. Yeah, we could be talking about some scattered to numerous thunderstorms developing, and a few of these storms could be on the feisty side with some damaging winds, some large hail, and maybe even a spin-up tornado, especially across northwestern Wisconsin and eastern portions of Minnesota later on this afternoon. That will continue into the evening hours with more heavy rainfall here continuously, with a stronger low-level jet feeding the moisture here from south to north across this area, especially into central Iowa around the Des Moines area. Definitely could be seeing repeated rounds of heavy thunderstorms all the way through the nighttime hours. But even as we go into Sunday, that cold front will continue to slowly progress from west to east across the upper Midwest with that upper level low pressure system into southeastern Canada. And we'll have another marginal risk here for Sunday for much of Minnesota, northwest Wisconsin once again, and northwestern Iowa. Again, this does include portions here of Duluth, Minnesota, getting down here into portions of, the Minneapolis-St. Paul area, and perhaps as far south and west here as the Sioux City area here as well. So we'll continue to watch that into your Monday. Looking at into your Sunday, morning, we'll be talking about some storms ongoing across southwestern Wisconsin, near Prairie du Chien, near Dubuque, Iowa, Madison, Wisconsin, and then getting back down there towards Cedar Rapids, Iowa. But as we get into the afternoon, some scattered supercells will start to develop in that marginal risk zone across central Minnesota. And yeah, we could be talking about here some storms that could be producing, again, those 50 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts, those quarter-size hailstones, and maybe a brief isolated tornado, but the tornado risk even on your Sunday looks a lot lower than even today. So that will be something that we'll continue to keep an eye on. Even as we get into Sunday evening, we'll start to see kind of a smaller complex, maybe an MCS, a mesoscale convective system that will develop and propagate its way to the east across portions of eastern Minnesota, northwestern Wisconsin, with maybe a more organized potential for some, heavy rainfall, some frequent lightning, and also some damaging winds and hail out there. So we'll continue to watch that as we head into tomorrow as well. But again, as we move a little bit farther to the east here, as we head into Monday with that cold front, we'll have marginal risk from the Detroit area, Grand Rapids, down into portions of Gary, South Bend, Indiana, Fort Wayne, the Chicago area, Peoria, Illinois. These are the areas that could be under the gun for maybe some isolated severe thunderstorms as we head here into your Monday. Again, that would be a damaging wind, hail risk here. The tornado risk on your Monday is also going to be pretty low as well. But looking into your Tuesday, again, that cold front will continue to slowly traverse from west to east, approaching portions there, the Ohio Valley, New England, all the way down towards portions of central Texas and the Gulf Coast, bringing some heavy rainfall at times across these areas. And even as we get into the middle of next week, we're going to be talking about your Wednesday time frame, ending the month of August here on your Wednesday, August 31st, widespread rainfall across the Gulf Coast into Florida and up the East Coast to Maine. We could be talking about some scattered showers and storms, and a couple of these storms could be producing some heavier downpours, maybe some isolated stronger storms. But again, any organized severe weather potential would be pretty limited as we get a little bit farther into next week, especially towards that Wednesday time frame. And you can definitely tell high pressure will be building in behind that across much of the northern plains and upper Midwest. So definitely some cooler air and some more pleasant conditions with more sunshine across those areas as we get into the middle of next week. Putting it all together over the next 5 days, widespread rainfall across central Iowa, approaching 2 to 4 inches here across the Des Moines area, Cedar Rapids, Mason City, Waterloo, Iowa. Some of these areas could be experiencing some heavier rainfall. Even some pretty steady rainfall across portions of the Ohio Valley, the Missouri Valley, all the way up into portions of New England. Widespread rainfall amounts there between a ½ inch and an inch and a half. So definitely some great news there. Lots of rainfall across Ontario and Quebec, Canada as well, with that upper level low continuing to kind of slowly progress eastward with that cold front, bringing some widespread heavy rainfall across southeastern Canada through the next 5 days as well, with rainfall amounts into much of Ontario and especially Quebec up toward Montreal there. We could be talking about rainfall amounts over 2 inches, so we'll continue to watch that as we move into that time frame as well. Looking at the tropics, guys, we're talking about 2 areas still watching the tropics. The National Hurricane Center has a 20% chance of development across the western and central Caribbean with this system here, moving through the eastern Caribbean now, moving westward. Another a little bit higher probability of development across portions of the southern Atlantic basin with a 30% chance of development over the next 2 to 5 days. That will be a system worth watching a little bit more as it has more energy to work with over the open waters, not really moving over land, and just really has more residence time overall across the southern Atlantic basin before it really gets toward the Windward Islands. So we'll continue to watch that. Looking at the satellite imagery of this, you can see the system to the west still trying to fight that dry air that I've been talking about the last couple of videos. We're starting to see that develop a little bit more, but a more robust system with more moisture More thunderstorm activity organizing across the southern Atlantic basin is evident here, and that will continue to press westward as we head here through the next few days. And that's why it has a slightly better chance of development as we move forward here towards early and middle portion of next week. So looking at this here this afternoon, you can see that system here with a 1009 millibar low pressure center here into the southern Atlantic Ocean here and over the open waters. We got that system here trying to develop across the eastern and central Caribbean, pressing westward toward the Yucatan Peninsula, so we'll continue to watch that. It is fighting that dry air here with the system to the west, but as we move here into early next week, we'll see some of this moisture develop a little more across the central and western Caribbean. Maybe a tropical depression could develop out of that, probably more of a heavy rainfall threat than anything else. But we'll have to watch another system trying to develop across portions just to the east of the Windward Islands, the Lesser Antilles, for some more moisture, some heavy rainfall to move toward the islands as we get into early next week. Even as we get into Wednesday timeframe to end the month of August, we got that system potentially organizing into a tropical depression, maybe a tropical storm. And then look, guys, behind that, the GFS is hinting at potentially another tropical depression or tropical storm trying to develop already off the coast there of Africa, pressing westward across the southern Atlantic basin as well, in which it does look to have its sights on the Lesser Antilles as we turn the page from August into that first week there in September. Comparing this with the ECMWF, the European forecast model, pretty similar. It has that other storm more robust across the African coast moving westward. Same thing here with the GEM and the Canadian forecast model. Again, showing another robust wave moving westward with the developing tropical system as we get toward the end here of August and into that first week in September. So that is something to watch. And it's really no surprise that we're seeing this. We have warmer than normal sea surface temperatures across the Gulf, the Caribbean, and much of the Atlantic. There is some cooler anomalies showing up in the southern Atlantic basin right now, but it is warming up ever so slightly over the last several days, and that will continue over the next few days and the next few months as well. So we'll continue to watch that as we get a little bit closer, and we'll continue to track these systems for you. And that's why you guys can rely on Weather on the Go here. All your weather coverage, I'll keep you up to date on all of the tropical weather upcoming across these areas. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to like it down below by giving it a thumbs up. Leave any comments, questions, and concerns below. And guys, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Definitely appreciate all the new subscribers out there. We're getting so close to 1,000 subscribers. We're approaching 700 subscribers now. So if you guys are new to the channel, subscribe down below. I definitely appreciate it. It's free to do. And again, I definitely appreciate it. Have a great weekend out there, everybody. And I'll see you all in the next video.